All right, guys, here we are to talk about Episode 5, Season 4 of Black Mirror.
Yes, sir.
Now, this is what the new Terminators wish they were.
Right? Yeah.
I want a show about this episode.
Sure.
I want what led up to this. I want what happens after this. I want to know about the thing. Best part about this episode, and I'm going to jump real quick here.
Fucking do it.
Best part about this episode was about halfway through, she says something about like oh, sorry, I wasn't able to retrieve it, blah blah blah. I'm like, it's a teddy bear.
Oh.
literally called it. Now I was like, it's gonna be a teddy bear, and then like 15 minutes later, like the camera's panning, and I'm like, oh, it's going back. I'm like, oh my god, you're actually gonna see what it was, because I totally thought you would never see what it was.
Might just say it's an abstract idea.
And then I'm like, oh, it's a crate of teddy bears. It's teddy bears. I was so excited. So excited.
So the best part about this episode is that you called what was in the box.
I called something that, and I don't think it was telegraphed at all.
Okay.
I called something that I feel was I just won the lottery of predictions.
I know. I wish they gave out some sort of reward for that.
No, but this episode was great.
Yeah.
Everything about like the robot thing and how it sends out those like tracking shrapnels. That's genius.
I'm gonna have one criticism later.
Sure.
But we're not gonna talk about that for like a long time.
Okay.
Because I really did enjoy this episode a lot, like you're saying, and
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you mentioned Terminator, because I want to talk about porn.
Okay.
After Terminator 4, whichever one has Christian Bale in it came out, that's not a good movie.
No.
Right? And like there's a bunch of reasons why it's bad. And I was saying to someone, maybe you or something like that, and I used the phrase robot porn, right?
Sure.
I'm using porn not in the way you can use in real life. I'm using it in the way they use on the internet, right? Where you have like, this is like Jeep porn or whatever, and it's just a bunch of pictures of Jeeps and people that like Jeeps. It's the idea of like food porn. It's like you're looking at pictures to ogle something that...
The more popular torture porn of the Saw franchises and whatnot.
Okay, right. So you can use porn in like a non-sexual context is what I'm saying. So like...
For those people, I think it might be sexual, though.
Well, depending on your on all of your shit. So there's like a gray line there. There's like there's a bunch of terms that I can't think of, but you see, like you can find subreddits that are not sexual. It's just about sharing pictures.
Earth porn.
I was just gonna say there's a word for like human porn. That just feels like porn. I don't know, but earth porn, yeah, is just like awesome landscapes and pictures of cool mountains and shit, right? So like whatever. So robot porn, right? Not fucking robots, but fucking robots. You know, where there's awesome like in Terminator 4 there was all this cool thing where like the bike robots were in the legs of the walker robots and shit would unfold in all these cool ways or whatever. And when you mentioned Terminator, because I wasn't going to bring any of this up, I was thinking about like robots and cool robot designs and things or whatever. And now I get to bring it up because you said the word Terminator or whatever, and here we are. Awesome, cool, realistic, but fantastical robot things right in this, right?
Delightful.
There were those walker robots that were terrifying us on the internet like a while ago, where the guy kicked it and it like gets back up and does its like things. And this I think was like, you know, what if those took control of the world or whatever the fuck, right?
Well, yeah, this is where we have that like, you know, pre-Terminator like world where like the things are first coming out, or like Screamers.
I'm glad you said that, because I was gonna did I write down Terminator / Screamers? I thought about writing it down, but that was the whole thing. There's like two basic things to talk about here, right? It's like Terminator and Screamers, because that's the deal or whatever. Yeah, right. Because Screamers was like a post-whatever world where like the war was long over, but the bots that like we created to fight the war or like help with part of the war were programmed to kill forever, and they're still like around killing and all that stuff. Yeah.
And that's a great movie. This though, like,
super underrated,
is the modern like super like it's not like, oh, we remade that. This is like, no, we made that like what that wishes that was then. Like this was great. I want this to be a series. I think this could be a great show. That world, this thing's happening. I'm sure there's other types of robots. It's not because these are dogs. They label them. Those are the dogs.
Right.
I'm sure there are other things.
You wouldn't need to call them dog. Well, maybe you would, but you probably wouldn't call them dogs to like distinguish versus some other thing, right? There's probably birds or something.
But it appears that they've like never encountered them though, based on how they like they may have heard of them or something, because you'd think you'd know like you would have killed one, you'd know that like shit pops out once you kill it.
Well, and shit popped out of that guy earlier too. I don't know. There was a lot of stuff.
I think that's
like
how
that.
They engage, where it's like, okay, like, you know, there's more than one opponent. Do this so you can track the one. It
seemed like it had different like weapons and like responses to stuff. Yeah, and I don't know if it can make bullets or make projectiles in it. If it's a little factory to make those things, or if it has to be loaded. She might have thought it already did it and couldn't do it again. Like I don't know why. But again, like there's so many things like that where like don't you know that it does this or does that or whatever? And she was in such like a desperate situation. Like I think they did a good job of making me not want to pick apart. Like, wait, what can it do? Wait, how does it do that? Like,
well, its one arm was
good.
the gun, and it lost
Yeah,
the gun,
right.
which I thought was cool.
Totes.
I also think you know, the tragic downfall for her is like, you know, she pulls out her tracking device, and now it's in the house. And you're like, oh god, like it's in the house with me. I have to fight it. And she does exactly what I wanted. She threw the paint on the fucking thing.
Did they show the paint before? I didn't notice.
They
the
showed
paint.
like a tarped room that like looked like it was gonna be like
Cool.
prepped for paint.
Right.
So she covers its eyes, its sensors, so it can't see.
Awesome. It was awesome.
And to me, I would have ran and just left. Like that.
Okay.
That's what I thought was gonna happen.
Like forever. Right?
And then because I was like, what's it gonna do? It can't like can it clean it off? No.
Yeah.
Earlier than that, though, she sees that the battery is dying. And now, if you lived in this world, you might know that they're solar powered or not.
Right. It seemed like right.
Like you'd think she should know that.
Yeah.
So when it died, she should have flipped it over.
Okay.
When she left, and then she, you know, it would have been done. And
Yeah,
the
I don't know
battery's done.
how much exposure it takes to get any.
Either
sort
way,
of
I still would have
yeah.
done something.
Something, right? I kind of expected her to come back with a rock and for something to go wrong there, and then when she just booked it, I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
we get to go somewhere else, though. That's cool.
Then it flashes forward past the point of the paint, right?
Right.
I detoured backward there for just because I had to remember to bring that up before I forgot.
Yeah.
She turns the car music on. The car won't start, but the radio plays.
And she leaves the radio on
yes.
to like draw
and
it
the
in
door's
or whatever.
open.
Yeah.
So she left both doors open. That to me was the first mistake. I
Okay.
would have left one
Could've
door
closed the
open.
other door,
When it
or-
went in, I would have closed the door. Yeah.
Okay.
Like if
I'm sure
if
that
you
could
were
get out.
well,
Yeah.
yes, but when it comes out, that's when I would shoot it.
Okay.
Like,
You wait for it to.
but and that's already anticipating like because it's blind. It's only going for the sound.
Right.
It might even because it's blind now with its sensors
Just
not working.
go down?
Once it breaks all the speakers, it might just think it won.
Yeah. So I don't know how intelligent it was. If we do want to pick it apart, I think things started to fall apart a little bit. So like when they showed that so like this whole time, right? I'm like, we're in the post-apocalypse. What the fuck's going on, right? For a time in the middle, I thought like, is that a security robot? And were they like robbing the warehouse? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, you were kind of waiting for what is the twist.
I know, and that's going to be my criticism in like 12 minutes or whatever.
Well, the twist was we weren't trying to get medicine. We weren't trying to blah. We were just trying to give a little boy a little happiness.
I mean, they say in the beginning, this is daft, but we just want to make his last days a little easier or some shit like that. And I was like, okay.
But I
It's
wonder
something
if
to
last
be,
days even implied he was dying,
They
or
said
they're
he's dying,
all
yeah.
dying.
Oh, they said I took it that he was dying, so I didn't see like a twist coming with like, oh, because the guy says it's not gonna save him, right? It's just gonna, and she's like, fucking no, like this is what I don't know. It was something about like because they talk about the pigs and shit. I don't know, like this. It's something about humanity and what it means to be human and whatever the fuck. I don't know. That's my. We'll get there. We'll get there in a minute.
Did the robots kill the pigs? You think? Did the robots just kill everything?
He said, like, well, you know, the dogs made short work of those. Back when you didn't know that dog meant robot dog. I thought about this a lot because I was like, what the fuck does this episode mean? And I wanted to get
because I thought back on that too. I think before they referred to the robots as dogs, where I was like, well, if there's no people, there's no one to feed the dogs. Dogs would kill the pigs.
They become a feral pack, right? And the pigs, I think pigs will turn back into boars, but not like instantly. Like dogs will form packs and be hungry faster than pigs will be. You know, I don't know. Again, I thought a lot about this while I was sleeping or something. But there's so many good things, right? So when the water still worked, I was like, oh wait, so like how far into the apocalypse are we? Who's running like the water plant or whatever the fuck? And then when the paint happened, I went, wait, the water still works, right? So she's gonna run again, right? But then I'm like, and this episode was shorter too, so it kind of threw me off. I expected like there to be a whole nother location or something like that, but yeah. So like I thought it was gonna like drop the knife, take something else, run the water, like wipe itself off, and then be like fucking weird and all that stuff. I didn't know she was gonna plan to do it there. When it hurts its like leg, right, and it like tears the broken leg off, but then it like sheds the like pieces of that broken part, like it has breakaway sections.
Yes,
I thought that was so fucking cool. It's like the coolest thing in the world.
That makes a lot of sense too.
Because even the Terminator would be like dragging like parts and wires and shit hanging or whatever, right? Where you would think, right, if like you want to design this thing to be modular, you want it to have this predictable model of like what is active and what's broken and what's not, right? So pieces that were fucked would just break off, right? And then when they pay that off by like the nubbin, is like, well, this can connect to various things, and also just just like generically grab a thing. I wrote in all caps, "It has a knife," or whatever the fuck. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was.
And then you're like, okay, it's gonna like stab her leg or do something. Something interesting is gonna happen. She's like her back is turned. But then its method of attacking is, well, yeah, this thing can like close on stuff and keep spinning like a screw gun. So I'm just gonna it's like fucking drill knifing into the wall. And I'm like, this is the most terrifying thing in the world. And I loved it, like attacking the speakers, right, going for the sound, like very like brutal, efficient, taking care of shit. Like that whole sequence was more terrifying, I guess, not than the Terminator, because that face is so terrifying, but like right up there with like a scary robot.
I honestly
like
think
this a lot.
No Face is scarier.
Yeah,
because there's no emotion. It's just this is just gonna kill me. It's like you don't associate with it. It's just like it's a horrible fucking thing.
The Terminator design of like the metal skeleton, like the skull face with like the glowing eyes, and like the original stop motion. I remember as a kid being so terrified of this like thing, like Grudge Girl walking and dragging broken pieces or whatever. So it might be partially nostalgia. This was definitely terrifying though, in like a very interesting way. And watching her having to come up with all these ways, and like my prediction that I called or whatever was like once we get like a little way into this and she has to do like once she's tearing the thing out of her leg, I was like, okay, this whole episode is going to be about how hard it is to deal with one of these things, and it's going to end with like there's a million of them or something like that. Or and then it did, and I'm like, okay, good, or something like that.
What I don't get is why when she had the tracker in her did more not come at her at once.
Yeah, so that, like, again, I think if we start to go into it, right, because the tracker down by the, like, if all the trackers in her face doomed her because they were all going to come now and kill her, even though she killed one, maybe they all were on the way, but they went to the river instead of, what the fuck? What
makes sense to me about, like, how I rationalized it was the one guy was tracking her, and that guy gets it, and the other ones are still on search mode. And it wasn't until that one was broken that they're like one is damaged, all swarm.
Right, like we have an untracked target we have to go. Sure, because he was like, I'm on it or whatever.
I didn't like that she didn't fight to the end. I get she had one on her neck. But you could get it out, I think.
Does that imply that she killed herself?
Oh, yeah.
With the knife? Okay.
Yeah, she took her own life.
I didn't know if she was going to try to get that out and just assume that she'd die or whatever.
No, she was like this, ready to do a slash across her own
she was
throat.
up on that side. Okay.
Yeah,
because the tracker was on the other side. Yeah, I kind of thought like, ooh, I guess she killed herself. But then I'm like, I don't know. But yeah.
No, I don't go out like no bitch.
I don't go out scared with something that actually has, the ability to shoot my face. Oh, the deaths were so brutal in the beginning.
Certainly.
Oh my god, when it's just like, hi, how you doing? Okay, good. And like the way that it sounded percussive, like the Eon Flux guns, and this weird, because it was like it's not
took a chunk of his head off.
Oh, and just like brutally, just this big smear, and you're like, damn. What were you gonna say though? I cut you off on something.
If I was fighting like demons or like ghosts, something that I'm like, I can't actually beat these things.
Yeah.
Then I can see you end it just to not like be tortured for all eternity or whatever. Well, but I'm like, while this is certainly difficult, it's not impossible.
It's not. I think I don't know. They did a good job for me of selling how horrible it is to get caught by one of the things.
Oh, definitely.
And to just have her progressively, like she breaks down more and more, and how hard it was with one tracker and one dog.
But the next tracker will have a gun again, and that'll shoot me in the brain and I'll die instantly. Versus take my own life with a knife, I think I'd rather take my chances.
I would probably never kill myself with a knife in some strange bathroom house somewhere just because I thought dogs might be on the way. I'd probably still pathetically die, bleeding from my neck, and having like several of them swarm me and tear me apart or whatever.
The idea of that is really horrible.
Well, because like in all these movies, right, not to spoil any movies, but you don't want to kill yourself. What if like today's the day the human revolution succeeds and like the master control switch turns off and like the dogs stop programming you, right? And you've just killed yourself like 3 hours earlier, right?
Yeah.
I would always be thinking about that. And that's where humans have their strength, is the ability to hope against all.
But like, also she has the advantage that I don't have, where she's from this world. She knows her capabilities. Like when it opened that door, I'm like, the doors have fucking USB ports. Fuck.
I know.
Like I wouldn't have known that. In my head, I'm like, that fence is huge. You're totally safe. It couldn't climb a tree. You're safe in there. Good.
Yeah, and could she have like smashed that control?
I think she could have. If she would have just put like a piece of gum in it, I think she would have been okay.
Yeah, that kind of weird. and not knowing a lot about the world kind of hurts or helps or does something with that. But I like the idea that they can, because he like hacks the car too and drives it, or maybe he doesn't even hack it, like interfaces with it.
I think he interfaces it, yeah.
And then they can interface with everything. I don't know. There's a lot of cool world building here.
Yeah.
Did we talk about all the good things?
I want to see the Resistance do their fucking thing.
Yeah,
here.
okay. So that's my one. I won't call it like a real criticism because I enjoyed this a lot. But my only criticism would be that as a Black Mirror episode, like people make fun of Black Mirror for being too on the nose and hitting you over the head with like the thing. And this episode,
there was no head hitting.
It didn't have the thing. It just kind of, and like maybe it could have been implied a lot, but all the episodes also imply things. But then right in the beginning or the end or in part of the middle, they say, "What if you were a simulation though?" And like they like specifically pick a thing.
For this though, I just thought it was a great episode.
Yeah.
I thought the use of black and white was very powerful. It just because it just really somehow it drew me in deeper.
This is like a 10 out of 10 short film. I think it might not be a 10 out of 10 Black Mirror episode. And I've only seen now 5 episodes, but 4 of the 5 had very clear, almost and we'll see. You've seen more episodes. Do they ever not hit you over the head with the thing up until now? Is this like the first time?
No, there's episodes that are more subtle. And honestly, like while this might not be like that twist, there's no Twilight Zone-y like hurl at the end of this.
Well, yeah.
But this episode, more than any of them, made me want. I'm like, I want that to be a fucking TV show. I want this. I want this right now. I really like this.
This was a super good like thing because like the other ones, it kind of hurts their goodness as a thing. To what degree they're trying to like make their point or whatever.
Sometimes, yes.
And like not even like usually that like hurts it a little, but it's so good that it ends up being 7 or 8 out of 10 anyway or whatever, right? Whereas this like I can't judge it against those because I'm like, well, you weren't handicapped by having to prove a point to me. You just made this awesome thing for like no reason out of nowhere, and it's shorter. Like this is very weird.
The biggest part of the twist is just like they weren't risking their lives for medicine or anything to save somebody. They were risking their lives because they were being human and trying to just subtly comfort somebody, and their being human got them killed by robots.
Okay, so
there we go. That's like the best twist you could extrapolate.
That's the like extrapolated, right? And that's kind of what I was gonna say with they talk about the pigs. What kind of society is that? Everyone's equal. Well, the dogs killed the pigs, right? And now we're humans, and we do human things, like we help each other, and we do whatever the fuck we do, right? A lot of Terminator like addresses that. Even The Walking Dead addresses that, right?
Sure.
Where it's like, well, this could be 100% like secure, but then would we really be living? And the answer is yes, and fucking just do that. But it's like, as a viewer who is a human, you can empathize with their desire to say, well, we still need to have freedom, and we can't say you can't leave the facility ever, right? Even though it's risky, right? It's weird shit or whatever.
I wonder, like, where they live, like what is the facility?
So that's I wanted to know that, and
it could hear one half of the walkie-talkie and like track it. Why can't it track the other side? Or I kind of wanted that to be the twist, like she does escape and get back, and they're all dead.
So when she got to that house that we didn't even know was a house yet, and she had to like get the keys and figure it out, I thought that she got back to like the settlement, and everyone was dead there, and it was going to be this crazy hopeless thing, and then you were going to zoom out or like cut to some
and dogs everywhere.
Well, yes, to show how horrible everything is, but some explanation for like what's going on or something like that.
Nah, they're not big on that.
Or something. No, they're super big on that. Every other episode has gone to great lengths to explain
Never
to you,
when you want it,
like how the technology works, why this is like an ethical or like moral dilemma, and then showing you how it might go really wrong and fuck everything up. But like so we can continue to extrapolate though, right? We can say it can interface with the cars and the doors and like the walls and all that stuff. So these like in Screamers, right? It was like a war. So the robots belonged to like the bad guys, I guess, and they were like landmines.
Well,
right?
both sides had them. It was two mining colonies.
Okay, you remember the exact plot. I remember the cigarettes that let them breathe or whatever.
Well, yeah, they were anti-cigarettes. They helped them fight the radiation that was on the planet.
Keep away from cancer or whatever. But that was the thing, right?
Reds, I think they were called.
Yes, they were like the relics of like of this war that were still there and still killing because that was their job. Kind of like landmines. That's like the analogy that I would make here. So here, I think that we can kind of since these robots have ports in the world that they can do stuff with, that maybe the robots were just a part of life that they like did.
I think they were police.
Yeah, they were probably either like security, right? Because they have weapons. You wouldn't put weapons in something. When it sees its like robo-vision, the blood stands out. It has tracking devices, right?
The blood thing was annoying to me. Was that annoying to you?
That it was so consistently like placing the trail?
Where is it dripping from?
Her wound.
But her wound is on her upper thigh, and it has
drips all the way
so
down.
much pant and sock and
Sure.
shoe that I'm like,
Yeah.
if she was bleeding that much, she'd be dead.
She'd be fucked up.
And then like when she like looks at it, it wasn't that blood. There wasn't even that much blood there.
Yeah.
I don't know that part. I was like, come on.
There's a lot of there's a lot of stuff like that. Where
Have
like,
it.
why is it doing?
Why
this?
not just have it like pause, and it could hear her heartbeat or something like.
Yeah, you can both say it. So like showing
Or track the heat, or like it can see
Yeah.
the disturbances in the ground.
Yeah. There's
something.
There's a lot of ways you could go, and I think all of them would have been equally effective at showing us that it's like designed to hunt people. Right?
Sure.
Because having the blood stand out, having it being able to listen, having it do all the things that it from like its perspective that it does, definitely shows off the fact that these are there's some sort of like security, or like they like track down the escaped. Like I thought there was going to be a twist where like where
They're
like
prisoners.
yeah, where like they had like escaped from something, and like these are the things like in the like forbidden wasteland that like track down and like eliminate these like escaped like something, right? Where there's like we have a utopian society and some people are like the low techs and they go like some weird shit like that was going to happen. And you don't need
That would have been good.
It's like really good without all that, but again, as like a Black Mirror episode, I'm kind of I've been trained now
like a
to
twist.
expect it. Well, to have it be a framework, right? Whereas here, I can't say, man, you're right. I mean, at first it seems it's all good. We have these cool robots, and then this shit happens. Like I can't really say that. I have to just guess. I guess we thought those robots were cool and we needed them, and then they turned against us, or someone reprogrammed them. Did like China invade and like hack our robots and make them turn against?
Or
like,
is that
what?
China's force attacking
Yeah.
America? You know?
Oh, okay, yeah. Like, were we invaded? Are those even human robots? Probably, but maybe they're like alien. Like, I have literally no idea,
Yeah.
right? And that
Open to interpretation. We'll find out in
well-
the series of Dog.
I was gonna say, like, if they make Metalhead the series, which they will not do, that would be cool to explore. It might. So people right now, if anyone's watching this, they're saying, no, it's cool that you don't know. That's the whole point. And they threw you in the middle of it, and they gave you this slice of this crazy world, and I love all that shit. And again, as like a short film, I think it works 100%. It's 10 out of 10.
I like knowing.
I think what?
I like knowing. I'd
No,
rather
but-
explain it the fuck.
Right. But as a,
I
as a Black
enjoy
Mirror,
those backstories. I like knowing, like, oh, it was the year 2038
Yeah.
when man finally fucked up. Like,
Yes. Well, I like a backstory just anyway, right? Because that's how we are. We're like the world. I like to like in the intro credits of Terminator, show me the Terminator factory, so I know that like we're building these. Right? I don't know. Show me just sprinkle some shit in, or some dumb. Terminator's dumb, but great. Yeah, as like a Black Mirror episode, I'm not left with anything to ponder. Like, what if we had machines that could show you other people's memories, and what would that mean for criminal justice, right? That episode even showed cops being like, "What the fuck are we looking at here?" Okay, call on the team, right? It like changed how police work worked, the way that like fingerprints would have, right? That's something you can think about. You can write your own screenplay. Oh, it's the future. Cops no longer do this; they do that from space, right? You can do.
you'd think they'd have some sort of more precautions or weapons or something, knowing what they're dealing with. I think they were woefully unprepared.
They were 100% unprepared. That too made me wonder about a lot of things. He throws a rock and goes, "It's okay." Like, what the fuck? Like, that is not how you deal with this problem at all, right? That's crazy.
No. Yeah, you have anything else to say about this episode?
Again, though, right? So, like, 10 out of 10 short film.
I enjoyed it.
7
the hell
out
out
of
of
10
it. Yeah.
Black Mirror episode.
I
or
want
something
more
like that,
on
right?
record.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below, guys, what you think about this. Until next time, don't die in a fire, and we'll see you then.